Hey guys, welcome back to Steel City Sports. So today we had the schedule release for the NFL. So today I'm going to be taking a look at my team's schedule, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I'm going to walk you through my predictions for what our record is going to be for the upcoming 2025 NFL season. And I probably will make a more in-depth breakdown of this, probably right around when the season is going to start. But this is kind of my initial thoughts on this schedule right here. And do keep in mind, I made these predictions with Aaron Rodgers in mind. I have him in my mind. He's going to be the quarterback for the Steelers this upcoming season. He's reported to already have the playbook. There's some, who really knows what the hell's going on with Aaron, but if I had to bet money, Aaron Rodgers is going to be the Steelers starting quarterback. So keep in mind, these predictions are contingent upon that. If Aaron Rodgers does not sign with the Steelers, their record's going to look a lot different than what I have predicted here. And just a little spoiler, it's not even that great with Aaron. So let's get into it right now. So starting off at week 1, how appropriate would it be if Aaron does eventually sign here? Week 1, we go to New Jersey to play the New York Jets and what would be an Aaron Rodgers revenge game. Obviously, things ended very poorly with his tenure there. Basically, just a total dumpster fire, and we've gone into the Jets ad nauseum last year, so I'm not going to waste any time. If you're a longtime listener of this channel, I picked a lot on the Jets last year. 2023, I picked on the Cowboys a lot. 2024, the Jets definitely filled that void of the team that I picked on the most, but I think rightfully so, because I was one of the few people, at least that I saw on YouTube, that wasn't sucking the Jets off and was really telling it how it was. And I was, I hate to be I told you so, but, I told you so. So anyways, getting into this year, I do think this matchup does favor the Steelers for a multitude of reasons because the Jets have all kinds of problems. They were a mess last year. They were a mess the year before that. They were a mess the year before that. The Jets are always going to be a mess. They have the longest playoff drought in professional American team sports right now. So the Jets don't worry me whatsoever. Even though they have some good players on this roster, from a functional structural standpoint, the New York Jets are a fledgling disaster, and hiring a rookie head coach who's defensive-oriented to go with a kind of hybrid, we don't really know what he is, in Justin Fields. And yeah, that's another storyline of this game is, Justin Fields is going to be playing his former team, the Steelers. But we liked Justin Fields so much that we're willing to pass on him, which I don't know if that's the right move. Looking at our quarterback situation right now, I wouldn't have been opposed to bringing Fields back. He went 4-2 when he was with us, but clearly the Steelers didn't really care for him as a player because they didn't bring him back. They let him go. I have us winning this game. I just think that there are many things that favor us in this matchup, specifically our pass rush against their offensive line. Their O-line was really bad last year, particularly down the stretch. And I always find it funny that I had some Jets fans arguing to me that their O-line was actually decent last year. No, it wasn't. I don't give a fuck what Pro Football Focus says. If you watch the Jets games, I don't know why you would unless you really like torture, but if you watched a lot of the Jets games last year, their pass, particularly their pass blocking, was a fucking nightmare. Breece Hall was supremely overrated going into last year. Their receiver core is still thin, in my opinion. And like I said, rookie head coach, a quarterback that we don't really know what he is. Even though I liked him with the Steelers, despite their flaws, they have a structure. They have a identity set up here. And I've got my problems with that, as you've heard me do Tomlin rants before. I think it's a little stale at this point in time. But at least when Fields came here, there was that structure. There was that leadership in place with this team. That is not the fucking case with the New York Jets, because not only do you have a rookie head coach, you have arguably the most dysfunctional front office and management/ownership in the entire National Football League. So to me, that does not spell a good recipe to go with all the other problems I have with this team. So I think the Steelers are going to win this, especially with Aaron at the helm. He's going to want to get revenge on the Jets after they cut him, because if you guys listen to him on McAfee, which I wouldn't recommend because it's kind of obnoxious to listen to Aaron speak, but he basically, in his mind, thought that he was going to be brought back this year with the Jets. He full well had the intention that he was going to be playing for the New York Jets again this season. and they cut him. So he's going to have some added motivation. Kind of funny because last year when we had Russ, we played the Broncos in week 2, and that was supposed to be like Russ's revenge game, and he didn't even play in that. But anyways, I have the Steelers winning that one. That puts us at 1-0 to start off the year. Week 2, we're coming home for our home opener against the Seattle Seahawks. I think that they're going to win this game for a couple reasons. My biggest thing is, what is Sam Darnold going to be like outside of Kevin O'Connell's system? Because we've seen Sam Darnold go to a couple different places that weren't that Vikings setup. That Vikings setup, you could argue, is the best setup for a quarterback in the NFL. You've got an offensive guru at the head coach. You've got arguably a top 5 wide receiver tandem between Jettas and Addison. Aaron Jones coming off a good year. Even Hawkinson, when he got back, he was really productive. A good offensive line. Like, basically everything you could fucking want as a quarterback in the NFL was given to him on a silver platter with the Minnesota Vikings. And yeah, he fucking killed it, but those big games really came back to bite him in the ass. It costed him a lot of money. I mean, he got a really good deal from Seattle, but there's a chance if he would have won that last game against Detroit alone, he probably would have still been a Minnesota Viking. So I don't know. That's kind of getting off topic here. But when I look specifically at this, again, I have to bring up our pass rush, which I think is going to be more improved. And Derek Harmon, they talk about him a lot more as a run stopper, but I do think Derek Harmon is going to contribute to the pass rush as well, because he's going to be playing alongside Cam Hayward. That really, I think that's going to be a wrecking ball duo in the middle, and then you have Watt and Highsmith rushing the passer. I think that's going to be an absolutely devastating unit, especially against a team in Seattle who has a lot of question marks on that O-line. They're bringing in a quarterback to this new system. They really struggled to find an offensive identity last year. That's why their offensive coordinator, I believe Ryan Grubb was his name, was fired after just 1 year of having that job, because I feel like they had no identity on offense. They couldn't decide if they were more of a run-oriented team, a pass-oriented team, or maybe a hybrid. I feel like they were just jumping around, second-guessing themselves every game. Every time I watch the Seahawks, it's like, what are they doing? But yeah, that to go with the fact that I don't trust Darnold outside of O'Connell's system. We've seen him go to a bunch of different places, the Jets, the Panthers, the Niners, and not really impress. He had that one great year. He deserves credit for that, and he got his credit with the bag that Seattle gave him, but I don't know if it is something that I would believe in. So that's why I'm going with the Steelers in this one. Next up is week 3. We go to New England to play the Patriots. This is our first L, I think. I think the Patriots are actually going to be a really solid team this upcoming year. I would not be surprised whatsoever if the Patriots were a 10-win team and in the wild card. I think they're going to be one of those surprise teams. There's always like 1 or 2 or 3 surprise teams every year that kind of come out of nowhere. The Patriots, to me, have that written all over them. They brought in a ton of veterans, just good players, no flashy, sexy names, but they brought in a bunch of just go look at all their acquisitions they had throughout free agency. I thought they had a really, really strong draft, bringing in Will Campbell, and the running back that they got from Ohio State, Henderson, I really, really like. I think he's going to be a great pro player to build around Drake May. They brought in a weapon, Stephon Diggs, who, has an attitude problem, but, Mike Vrabel's not someone who hasn't dealt with that in the past. He dealt with A.J. Brown, who, A.J. Brown was earlier in his career, but as we've seen, A.J. Brown's a little bit of a diva himself. So Vrabel kind of has experience dealing with those diva receivers. He kind of just brings an actual adult vibe to this organization, which they were lacking last year in Gerard Mayo, who I think is a really nice guy. I think could down the road be a really good coach, but it's clear was fucking in over his head. He had no clue what the fuck he was doing whatsoever, whereas Mike Vrabel is a proven commodity in the National Football League, which really shocked me that Vrabel didn't get a job like instantly after the Titans fired him. He actually waited a whole year to get a job, and I think that is going to be a talked about thing next season a lot, on how Vrabel was just sitting out there to be had. Like, this is an elite coach, and I think he's going to really turn around the Patriots really quickly, especially the fact that they've already found their quarterback in Drake May. I think he has Pro Bowl upside. I don't know if he's ever going to be, in the Herbert or Mahomes or Josh Allen, Lamar category, or Burrow. I don't think he's ever going to get up to that quite level. But I could just as well see him being in that, 12th, 8th to 12th best quarterback in the league range. I could absolutely see that happening for Drake May. And they've put pieces around him. Like I said, they invested in the line. They got him a grown-up head coach. They got him a deep threat with Diggs. They got him a running back, Henderson. They check a lot of boxes. They're moving in the right direction. I think they're going to beat the Steelers for all the things that I just brought up. I think that they're going to have a better identity this year. They're a more complete team. I like what they're doing up in New England. Week 4 is the Ireland game. So we're going over to Ireland to play the Minnesota Vikings. I do have us winning this one, so that puts us at 3-1 to start off the year. I have us beating the Vikings. I don't know what the Vikings are going to be. Now, history would tell you to bet on Kevin O'Connell figuring it out no matter who his quarterback is, because he's thrived with Kirk Cousins. He's thrived with Sam Darnold. Even with backups, he's had the Vikings looking like a competent team. So I just don't know what to make of J.J. McCarthy. I don't really have a take on the guy, one way or another. I don't know if he's going to be good or bad in the NFL. The thing that does worry me about J.J. McCarthy, missing his entire rookie season with an injury, that worries me a lot. But like we talked about with Darnold earlier, this is a great offensive apparatus to be in as a quarterback. You couldn't really ask to be in a better spot. So if he's going to work out, it's going to be with the Vikings. I just don't know. For me, it's too uncertain. And like we talked about with how dominant I think the Steelers' D-line is going to be to wreak havoc on essentially a rookie quarterback. I don't think that spells good for the Vikings. I could be way off on this, though, because I do have some pretty big red flag concerns with the Steelers' secondary. And you don't want that secondary going up against JJ and Addison because they're going to fucking torch the Steelers. I'm just kind of relying more so on the fact that McCarthy's going to be pretty hit or miss. So that's why I'm picking the Steelers in this one. So after that game, we have week 5 as a bye, which I don't love a week 5 bye. That's like so fucking early in the season. Like, again, I had so many problems with the Steelers' schedule last year because we didn't play a divisional opponent until week 11. It's like this is another head scratcher with who the fuck is making the Steelers' schedule. Why the fuck is there bye in week 5? Why is there even a bye in week 5? To me, that makes absolutely zero fucking sense whatsoever. But we can move on. Week 6, I'm going to try not to spend too much time on the divisional opponents because we already talk about the divisional teams so much on this channel. Just going to try to breeze through them. Week 6, we host the Cleveland Browns. I have us beating the Browns in both games. Spoiler alert. I have us sweeping the Browns. I predicted it last year. They obviously lost that game in Cleveland, that fucking snow globe tundra game up in Cleveland. But this year, I have zero faith in the Browns. I thought they were going to be bad last year, and they were even worse than what I thought they'd be. And I think they found a way to get even worse. They had an underwhelming draft. Even though Mason Graham's a good player, it's just I think Hunter and Abdul Carter would have been such better additions to this team than Mason Graham. Their quarterback situation somehow found a way to get worse, which probably a lot of people, myself included, thought wasn't even fucking possible after last year. But now they have 5 quarterbacks they're going to be bringing into an NFL season. That is absolutely fucking unheard of in like the history of the league, to roll into a season with 5 quarterbacks on your active roster. I mean, I guess Deshaun isn't really going to be active because he's on the injury reserve or whatever, but he's still a listed quarterback on this team. So you're going to have 5 guys. You got Deshaun, you got Flacco, you got Kenny Pickett. Poor Kenny's stuck in purgatory and hell over there. And then you got the 2 rookies, Gabriel and Shador. So it's a fucking mess. And that really is all you need to know about this team, is the fact that they have 5 quarterbacks. What's the old saying about quarterbacks is if you have 2 good quarterbacks, you really don't have any. The Browns have fucking 5 that they're bringing into this season. And they drafted 2 of them. Like, I don't know what to say about this team. I mean, it's a fucking shit show. It's an absolute calamity, and the Steelers should be fucking ashamed if they lose any game to the Cleveland Browns, because they're a fucking disgrace of a franchise. So moving on, week 7, We've got another divisional opponent. We got a Cincy to play the Bengals. The Bengals obviously always play us really well. They usually always tend to be like shootout, high-scoring games when we play Cincy. I have us losing this game to the Bengals. It's in Cincy. I think we're going to trade wins and losses with the Bengals this year. That's what I predicted last year. I think it's just the safe bet. So the Bengals, like I said, it's always a high-scoring game when we play them. This one's in Cincy. I'm giving it to them. So that puts us at 4-2. We come back to Pittsburgh to play the Packers. I have the Packers beating us. I think they're going to be really good again. And they got off to a bit of a weird start last year with the Jordan Love injury, even though, Malik Willis wasn't that bad, filling in for Love. But they just had a weird start to the season with that injury and all that. But overall, I think they're going to be better. I liked their draft, getting that receiver from Texas. I think is going to be a really good player. I think his name's Golden. Correct me if I'm wrong. Matthew Golden, I believe is his name. I think he's going to be good to go along with that young receiver core. Josh Jacobs coming off a great year. Their O-line's getting better. They're just a highly functional, well-ran team, good head coach, good quarterback. There's really not a whole lot to dislike with the Packers. And I think that they're going to really be able to take advantage of our bad secondary with their depth at the receiver position. They got really good receivers, and I think they could really just pick us apart. And again, if Aaron is here, this would be kind of a fun storyline. Aaron playing his former team, Green Bay. Week 9, we have the Colts. I think the Colts are going to be really, really bad next year. Like last year, I don't think I did pick them as a playoff team, but I think I had them like right on the edge, like an 8 or 9 win team. I don't have the Colts anywhere near the playoffs, so I think they're going to fucking suck. And that's because Anthony Richardson's just objectively bad, which I take no pleasure in saying because I was an Anthony Richardson fan. I thought, based off the small sample size from his rookie years, the 3 or 4 games he played before he got hurt, I thought he looked really fucking good. I thought he was going to be a really good player. And then this past year went as bad as you could imagine. I mean, it was a fucking train wreck for Anthony Richardson. And if that continues, which it most likely will, because they still have yet to address the major problem on this Colts team, and that is they don't have a great deep vertical threat. I know they got him Tyler Warren, which I really, really like Tyler Warren. I think he's going to be an exceptional player. But it doesn't fix their vertical threat issue. They don't really have a dominant receiver. It's very underwhelming, lackluster. Their defense is very underwhelming. I just think overall they don't draft very well. They just don't draft well. I think is their GM, is it Chris Ballard or is that? I think their GM is Chris Ballard. How the fuck does he have a job? Like he has missed on so many. Just looking at the quarterback carousel that they've done since Andrew Luck retired. What did they have? Phillip Rivers, Matt Ryan, Carson Wentz. Who am I forgetting? Gardner Minshew, Anthony Richardson. Like they've had all these fucking quarterbacks, and it's been a mess pretty much every single time. Outside, Phillip Rivers wasn't terrible his last year there, but it's been a disaster since Luck has retired. I don't know how the fuck that GM has kept that job because he just does not draft very well. I think the Colts are going to be a fucking tire fire this year. So give me the Steelers. That puts us at 5-3. Week 10, we go out to LA to play the Chargers. This will be us playing 2 former Steelers and Najee Harris and Dante Jackson, who are now both members of the Chargers. Still kind of heard about both those. I really liked those players for us last year, especially Najee, being the fact that he was the only Steeler I had the jersey of. So I still need to go find a new Steeler jersey. But I do have the Chargers winning this one just for the fact that we beat them last year in Pittsburgh, and we only were able to really win that game because Herbert was pretty banged up in that game, particularly the second half. He was really struggling with an injury, so I just think this Chargers team, they're going to be a better overall roster going into next year because I did like their draft. I think Omarion Hampton's going to be an absolute monster to pair with Najee. They're going to be a really good team, and it's in LA. I think the Chargers are going to win this one. That would put us at 5-4. Next up, Bengals. Like I said earlier, I just have us trading with the Bengals. So this one is in Pittsburgh. I have us winning this one. That would put us at, where are we at? 6-4. Then week 12, we go to Chicago to play the Bears. I think the Bears are going to be good this year. I don't think they're going to be like a Super Bowl team or anything, but I think it's reasonable to say they're going to be a playoff team with all the fucking firepower that they've loaded up on, building up that O-line, drafting Colston Loveland, the tight end, getting a up-and-coming young guru offensive-minded coach in Ben Johnson. I'm going to have to make a separate video just about the Bears and my expectations for them because they're a high-profile team, obviously, but I think they're going to be really good, and I think that the Steelers with our just so outdated offensive personnel, or not personnel, but offensive philosophy, our outdated, I don't know how you'd put it, basically just the way that the Steelers approach offense. They're not going to be able to keep up with a modern offense like the Bears are going to have that's going to be really high-powered, really high-scoring, really sophisticated. I think the Bears have a chance of fucking bludgeoning us, so that puts us at 6-5. Week 13, the Bills. I'm not spending any time on this. The Bills are going to fucking curb stomp us into the ground. That's all I'm saying on that, because every time we played the Steelers in the Josh Allen era, it's been a fucking bloodbath. So, yeah, the Steelers are going to get absolutely pulverized by the Bills in Week 13. That puts us at 6-6. Week 14, we go to Baltimore to play the Ravens. I have the Ravens winning this one, just like I did with the Bengals. I have us trading with the Ravens. So I have us losing this one in Baltimore. That puts us at 6-7. Week 15 is Miami. It's a coin toss if Tua's even going to be healthy at this point in the season. Even if he is playing, I don't think Miami's going to be very good this year. Another bad offseason, another underwhelming draft. They're probably not going to have Tyreek Hill. Even if Tyreek Hill's there, does he even care about football anymore? I mean, with all his fucking off-the-field bullshit. Jalen Ramsey's probably going to be traded before the season starts. I don't like the direction of this team. All their momentum's heading in the wrong direction, and they're paying Tua a shit ton of money. There's, like I said earlier, there's no guarantee he's even going to be playing in this game. So even if Tua plays, I have a lot of confidence the Steelers will be able to win this game. So that puts us at 7-7. Week 16, we go to Detroit to play the Lions. I don't think there's any shot we beat the Detroit Lions. I mean, they are arguably the most complete team in the NFL right now. And had they not fallen apart with injuries, they probably would have went to the Super Bowl. There's a really good shot. I mean, a large chunk of last year, they were the favorite to get out of the NFC for a long stretch of last year for good reason, because they have the team. Now, obviously, we're going to have to get into a deeper conversation about the Lions with them losing both their coordinators, but in terms of personnel, it's not close. The Lions should absolutely crush us. So I have them losing that. Puts us at 7-8. Week 17, we go to Cleveland. Like I said, we're sweeping the Browns, or at least we should. That puts us at 8-8. And then week 18, like I said earlier, I have us trading with the Ravens. So we win this one in Pittsburgh. That puts us at a record of 9-8. Wow, the Steelers went 9-8. I've never heard of that one before. Wow, but Tomlin, congratulations. You get to keep your winning streak alive. Yet another year goes by. And if they are able to make the playoffs with a 9-win record, they're going to be fucking 15-point underdogs and get fucking destroyed in the first round. So that's what those are my realistic expectations for this team. Like I said, it's all contingent on if Aaron plays. If Aaron's not here, I think it's going to be a lot worse than 9-8. But that's my predictions. So, if you made it this far in the video, thanks for listening to me blab about the Steelers and all these other teams. Appreciate it. Please like and subscribe.